all behind Harry Kane, who has fond memories of this place. It was 3 years ago he scored 2 goals as England knocked out Ukraine in the quarter-finals of the Euros by 4-0. The last 8 is the aim for these two sides in the Champions League. Chris Sutton.
Yep, some city, some stadium, some atmosphere. But got to say, this season, both these teams have been tales of the unexpected, really. Both aren't in a position where they want to be. Lazio say they're struggling in Serie A, but after last season's second place finish, I think they'd have expected more under Maurizio Sarri. And Bayern Munich, they're used to winning trophies. This could be a trophyless season for them. They need to buck their ideas up in the Bundesliga, but I wouldn't rule them out of winning the Champions League, because on their day they are capable of beating any team in Europe.
Well, we are underway. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also live on BBC Sounds. I don't know about Valentine's Day. It feels more like bonfire night. There are firecrackers going off on the far side. There is the red hazy smoke where the Bayern fans, those flares have been now extinguished. And there is smoke drifting as well from the end towards our left-hand side. As Lazio, in their sky blue shirts and white shorts in this first half, are playing from right to left as we look, against Bayern Munich, who are all in black with a red trim, as Thomas Tuchel patrols that very expansive technical area down below. As the ball is back with Neuer. Drums, flares, plenty of noise. As Mazraoui, ball to Sane, who's operating on the right. Musiala is on the left. Müller is central behind Harry Kane, and then Ivan Provedel will chip the ball away, and Guendouzi gets a foot on the ball in the midfield. That familiar long locks of the former Arsenal midfielder, who really Lazio have, yes, they've got to keep a clean sheet, but as you said in the preview with Mark, they've got to try and take some sort of advantage to Munich for 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think predominantly expect Bayern Munich to dominate the ball. Of course, they've gone to their tried and tested back 4 tonight.
Sane on the right, enters the penalty area, down towards the byline he goes, he waits and he rolls it back, and it was Kimmich arriving, and he hit it right-footed first time just outside the D, off target.
Well, off target, but what an opportunity. Had the effort from the edge of the box, Joshua Kimmich, uncontested. It was Sane down the right-hand side, just chopped back onto his left foot, rolled the ball towards Kimmich, who came onto it first time, side foot finish, not far away, should be hitting the target, certainly working Provedel in the Lazio goal.
Lazio playing out from the back, have given it away. Harry Kane tries to knock it forward with a little dink ball. Musiala almost got a snip of it back on the edge of the area. The high press from Bayern Munich, and Lazio are going to try and play out. Two teams, of course, managed by former Chelsea managers in Thomas Tuchel and Maurizio Sarri. And eventually it was Mario Gila, the Spanish defender, who cleared it long for Lazio, but they've been pinned back inside their own half for the early exchanges. 2.5 minutes in as Guendouzi is fouled, and our French referee Francois Letexier will give that free kick to the home team as the sky blue and white flags, and there are plenty, continue to fly in the end towards our left. Not so many in the Curva Nord, with those Lazio supporters right next to the Bayern fans. As now forward is Husay, he's overrun it. Felipe Anderson is there, the former West Ham man, back in his second spell. His forward ball, the interception from Kimmich. Certainly Lazio yet to settle in these opening 3 minutes.
No, I think the game has started as expected. Bayern Munich aren't going to take a backward step in the early stages. The issue Lazio have is Immobile at 33. And Felipe Anderson is starting on that left-hand side. He's not going to run in behind, so it's going to be up to Isaacson playing off that right-hand side for Lazio to stretch the Bayern Munich back line.
Mazraoui forward right-hand side, back towards Kimmich. Only came back after injury. Played the last half an hour as a substitute in that 3-0 defeat against Bayer Leverkusen at the weekend. Ball chipped forward over onto that far side. Guendouzi with the interception. Place it in field. Luis Alberto, formerly of Liverpool, Try to get Husai forward on this near side, the bearded defender. Back to Immobile. Luis Alberto, dark-haired, quite tall and slender in the midfield. Guendouzi plays it out towards that right-hand side. Marasic will get forward. Montenegrin international. Isaacson now skips away from one challenge, tries to get away from the second, and was fouled by Goretzka. Goretzka's actually on a yellow card. Should he get a booking tonight, he'd miss the return leg in 3 weeks' time. And he's fortunate. Free kick to Lazio.
I tell you what, really good passage of play from Lazio, building from the back on the left-hand side, worked the ball nicely across the field. Guendouzi on the half-turn out to Isaacson, who drove inside on his left foot. And Goretzka, clumsy challenge. Oh, it's about 30 yards out, right-hand side of the box. You'd think it suits a left footer. Too far to shoot, do you think?
Possibly. Mind you, what is it? It's under 30 yards out from goal. Neuer is lining up the wall. It's chipped forward, aimed towards Immobile, and then Müller will clear. But one back by Luis Alberto, shoots right-footed low. That was blocked by Kim, the South Korean international. Touched forward, and then hit back long, lifted over the top for Immobile to chase, and Neuer, all in green, dives forward as he gathers that ball in. But it's a lively atmosphere here on 5 Live. 5 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, it is. That's not Immobile's game, running in behind, really. That's not where he wants to be, but as Neuer gathers the ball, Immobile in behind Kim, knees him in the backside. Must have hurt Kim. He's hobbling.
He's going to try and shake it off. Eric Dyer, who's been relegated to the bench, as Müller tries to keep that ball in play. On the stretch, succeeds. Sane, Goretzka spreads it out wide. Musiala has fond memories of playing against Lazio, and he cuts in now on that left, back towards Sane, lays it off. Kimmich then, Müller is peeled away on this side, hooks it back in. Harry Kane, 7 yards out from goal, on the half volley, skied it. Good chance for Bayern.
Good chance, great chance for a player of Harry Kane's quality. He'll be wondering how he didn't hit the back of the net. You're right, 7 yards out. It's a wonderful cross from the left-hand side, and Thomas Müller does brilliantly to keep it in, hooks it back into the centre of the goal, and Harry Kane on the half volley over the crossbar. Bayern Munich should be ahead. Harry Kane normally gobbles those up for fun.
You might recall he scored early for England against Ukraine in this stadium in July of 2021. It was a goal in the 4th minute, and scored actually his second early in the second half. Had that early chance, couldn't take it, as he looks to add to his tally of 28 goals for Bayern Munich this season. No other goals elsewhere. Rangers lead Ross County by a goal to nil. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 1, the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Here we are though on 5 Live. We've got reporters out and about in a few of the championship games. The ball is played forward by Husai, looks for the run of Immobile, and Upamecano wins that aerial duel. And it's 7.5 minutes in, and it is still goalless as Müller to Mazraoui. Back it goes to Upamecano. Kimmich dropping deep, tracked by Guendouzi. Whistles because Bayern Munich are in possession. Mazraoui on this near side, the right forward, slows it down. Sane back to Upamecano. Lazio have dropped off, playing quite a high line though, it's got to be said. Out it goes to that far side, and it will go to play for a Bayern throw.
They've got to be so switched on the back line of Lazio, trying to keep the game condensed. See Bayern's wide players, Musiala and Sane, hanging out on the touchline, available for those quick switches of play.
Isaacson wasn't aware that the play had actually stopped for a foul on Luis Alberto, and he was looking for a switch of play from Felipe Anderson. Now the free kick's been taken quickly. Look for that run of Immobile. Upamecano again wins the ball in the air. Ball played forward by Müller. Vecino is there to stop it and win it back for Lazio. Sane inside, helped on its way by Müller. Kimmich inside the centre circle, out to Guerreiro, the former Borussia Dortmund player, Portuguese international, very, very experienced. Kimmich They are missing Gnabry, Coman, Alphonso Davies through injury, Lima as well, the Austrian. But they've still got a lot of experience and talent in this Bayern Munich side as it goes out to that far side. Musiala turns, enters the penalty area. Musiala shoots, and behind it goes, deflected for a corner kick.
Yeah, Guerrero on that Bayern left-hand side, giving them width there, and he pops the ball inside to Musiala. He's always trying to come inside on his right foot and fire a shot off. This time it's blocked. Now for a Bayern Munich corner, can they make something of this?
Motherwell have got a second at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 2. Preston lead Middlesbrough by a goal to 0 in the Championship. 5 live. Corner kick to Bayern Munich. They're playing from left to right, far side to left. It's an in-swinger. It's deep. The ball is actually headed out by Kim for the Lazio penalty area to Mazraoui, and his right-footed shot is off target, and it will be a goal kick to Lazio. They met in the last 16 3 years ago. Due to the pandemic, it was played behind closed doors. They were 3 down at half-time with Lazio. Bayern ended up winning that first leg by 4 goals to 1. They will hope to avoid a case of déjà vu, or già visto, as you might say in Italy.
And that'll be it from your Italian vocabulary then. You got any more?
Non parlo italiano. Lazio building from the back. Isaacson, blonde hair. Danish forward, Guendouzi. Lazio, they were reliant on their home form to navigate the group stages, where they finished behind Atletico in Group E. That was Celtic's group, of course. 1-1 against Atletico. Providel, actually, the goalkeeper, scored in injury time to level that night. They beat Feyenoord by a goal to 0, and Celtic 2-0 at home. Great noise inside the Stadio Olimpico. Ball chipped forward. Immobile tries to get there. Neuer comes out of his penalty area, got a foot on it outside the box, and then it bounced inside the penalty area, and he throws it out to Kim.
He got really lucky, didn't he, Neuer? Something about Immobile and movement in behind. The timing of his runs is excellent, but he doesn't have that little burst to get away from Upamecano, but Neuer just about got it right.
Ball played forward by Mazraoui. Sane will give chase. Marshall safely out for a goal kick. Still 0-0. 12 minutes played here on 5 Live. Because you've got Lazio fans at either end, we're getting them in stereo tonight, aren't we? They're chanting first at the left side, then the right. You can't really hear the Bayern fans, whose red and white flags continue to fly, and they're clapping in unison. I can hear somewhere faintly in the distance a drum, but the Lazio fans are the ones making all the noise. 0-0. Guendouzi clears long. It's becoming a little bit isolated quite early on, isn't he, Ciro Immobile?
Yeah, I think it's important that Isaacson and Anderson get up into support of Immobile, but that's really not Anderson's game as such off that left-hand side. We know he's a creative player, eye for a pass, can nick a goal, but hasn't been overly productive this season for Lazio. He's not the only one.
He did score his 200th goal in Serie A at the weekend, the 8th player to reach such a mark. Roberto Baggio, Francesco Totti, of course, played inside this stadium for their arch-rivals Roma, just 2 of the other 7. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 3. So that's not gone well for Neil Warnock at Pittodrie. They've only been playing for 26 minutes. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 3. Here is Müller. Comes in field, makes the run. Harry Kane scoops it forward, straight to Providel. How's it started, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Sociedad, John Akers?
Sociedad started really well, but it's 0-0. Andre Silva with a curler wide in the first minute, and then Mbappe one-on-one, angle, good save from the goalkeeper. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Real Sociedad 0.
They're staggered, of course, the last 16 in the Champions League, so we've got more Champions League action for you next week. Tuesday back in Italy, Inter against Atletico, as Müller tries to lay it off to Musiala on the edge of the D, and then on Wednesday, the Stadio Dragao for Porto against Arsenal on 5 Live. Bayern Munich coming forward. The majority of this first 14 minutes has been spent in the Lazio half. but there hasn't really been too much of a scare. As Ibrox we go now, Ailey Barber.
A very silent Ibrox because Ross County have somehow equalised. It has been all Rangers, but a break down the right-hand side, a ball into the middle, and Simon Murray there to direct it brilliantly past Jack Butland. It is Rangers 1, Ross County 1.
A win to go level with Celtic, win by a 3-goal margin. They'd actually go top, but pegged back there as the ball is spread high and forward towards Sane, the little cut back towards Mazraoui. And it was Felipe Anderson coming back with the interception, but Lazio unable to hold on to the ball. Muller, Kimmich plays it forward, might fall to Harry Kane. The referee blows his whistle. Kane goes on and hits the post, base of the right-hand post.
Yeah, Musiala really unhappy about the award of that foul against him. Another opportunity for Harry Kane, didn't go in anyway, off the post, but that seemed a pretty soft award on the free kick. At the early stages, Lazio disciplined, just hanging on in there, but their issue is getting up the pitch. It's a big problem.
Mentioned that 4-1 victory when they were here 3 years ago. Musiala scored his first Champions League goal in that game. Bayern's youngest goal scorer in Europe's elite competition. It's a statistic that still holds to this day for Musiala, who is now tonight making his 150th appearance for the club and moving level actually with Miroslav Klose, one of his first coaches indeed at Bayern Munich, and a former Lazio striker. But it's 0-0. BBC Radio 5 Live as Kim, central defender for Bayern Munich, plays it along the ground to Upamecano, near side to Mazraoui, over the halfway line. Sane will drop back into the Bayern half. Upamecano's forward ball, Goretzka takes it on the turn, lays it off then into the centre circle for Kimmich. Guerrero had got forward on that far side. They'll try and exploit the gap left by the Bayern left back. They get a throw that they want to take quickly with the blonde-haired Isaacson, and then he's just told to wait as he looks for the support of those sky blue shirts. Goalless.
I was just going to say, Bayern Munich, the passing in that midfield area, some has been excellent, but there's been a few wayward ones. That on that occasion, Joshua Kimmich with a careless pass and wasted opportunity for Lazio.
Guendouzi makes the run forward, tries to work over the first time cross, block from Guerrero. Lazio will win a corner. Let's see what they can do from this set piece. They're playing from right to left as we look inside the bowl of the Stadio Olimpico, and Luis Alberto, formerly of Liverpool, only made 12 appearances after Liverpool paid £6.8 million for him from Sevilla. 9 substitute appearances, never started in the Premier League. Now 31 years of age. He will take the corner kick, far side to right. There are 6 sky blue shirts to aim for. It comes over now, downward header, and there was no real pace off that. Might have been Romagnoli who got his head towards the end of it, and it's easily picked up by Neuer, who will throw the ball out towards that far side. Aberdeen have got a goal back, incidentally, in the Scottish Premiership. Musiala running clear for Bayern Munich. Challenge, edge of the area. French referee says no foul on Musiala. And Guendouzi will pick up that ball now, and he's looking for the run of Immobile. He's got to try and get in the back of Kim, the South Korean, who concedes the throw. Goal in the Women's League Cup quarter-final. London City, Arsenal, Henry Moran.
Arsenal have got a third. That should see them through to the semi-final. A second of the night for Chloe Lacasse. And it is London City, Lionesses 0, Arsenal Women 3.
We are approaching the 20-minute mark here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Champions League action for you last night in Copenhagen. Here we are in Rome, 0-0. Kimmich will bring the ball away, diagonal ball. Sane lets it come across his body, tries to run in between Husai, the left back, but Felipe Anderson was tracking the run too, and he took it off his toes and back towards his goalkeeper.
And he's going to have to do that this evening, Felipe Anderson. Sane, we know his ability, the speed that he has, 1v1 situations, and as he turned there, looked like he had the legs run on Husai. Felipe Anderson read the situation brilliantly, got back, snuffed out the danger.
Lazio, that's the voice of Chris Sutton with us here in Rome. Ball played forward by Alberto. Upamecano will see it back to Neuer, takes a touch, plays it then to Goretzka, who, a couple of touches, takes him back into his own penalty area. Upamecano is calling for somebody to come short. That was Goretzka. Back to Upamecano. Lazio pressing at this stage. Upamecano, though, is able to play the ball up towards Thomas Müller. Stabs it forward. Sane back towards Müller. Continues his run on this near side, the right. Kane, Sane and Musiala all going ahead of him. He plays it infield, midway through the Lazio half. Kimmich to Musiala, central area. Isaacson is back working and helping for Lazio. This is Sane, right side of the area. Even Immobile comes back and then actually takes it away off at Goretzka. And Felipe Anderson does well, actually. He's being fouled there by Matsraoui. The referee spotted it, but he's done well. They're working hard, Lazio.
Oh, they are, and there's brilliant centre-forward play from Immobile, running all the way back to the edge of his own box to make a challenge on Müller, nick the ball back. Just trying to stay in at Lazio. If they do get that opportunity, you know who they want it to fall to.
Actually, coming into the game, they hadn't conceded in just over 5 hours of football. They've kept 3 successive clean sheets here. They've actually kept 9 clean sheets in their last 11 home games. The bedrock of the solid foundations from Maurizio Sarri, as Felipe Anderson now forward for Lazio, infield. Alberto now out towards Marušić. Along the ground it goes. Easily dealt with by Kim. Didn't really have to break stride, the South Korean. Muller's given the ball away though in the midfield of the Bayern half. Immobile, the Lazio captain, turns, holds onto the ball, tries to lose Upamecano. Felipe Anderson. And now the ball is played by... Out it goes wide. That far side. And now with Guendouzi. Lazio keeping the ball and having a better spell of possession.
Yeah, good patience from them. We can see in the early stages, Vecino is just on the half-turn there, how important he's been.
Ball played forward, Luis Alberto looks for a shooting opportunity and hits it right-footed and it's off the target. But it certainly had Neuer worried. He dived away to his left, goal kick, 0-0.
Oh, he hits this flush, doesn't he, Luis Alberto? You mentioned it, patient play from Lazio, and then Guendouzi, ball into the midfield for Vecino, who's on the half-turn, pops it to Luis Alberto, it must be 25 yards out level with Neuer's right-hand post, and hammers a shot just over the bar.
Certainly was travelling, that is for sure. He scored 3 goals this season, Luis Alberto, but it was a very good effort, 0-0, because chances haven't been too far wide in this game. Ball played forward. Did you see originally the team sheet, and the team sheet had Vecino in, didn't it, number 5? We weren't actually given a physical team sheet here, but I've just noticed 32's out there in the middle, and I wondered if Vecino has actually picked up a knock in the warm-up. He was warming up, but Cataldi is actually there as well. Just spotted that out there in the middle. But in the original team sheet, Vecino was actually there, but the Uruguayan international, it's Cataldi who's actually started in the midfield there with Luis Alberto and Guendouzi. Huddersfield Sunderland in the Championship, a goal, Shojo Saka.
It is Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0. A free kick from the right, 20 yards out, really cleverly taken by Jack Rudoni, left-footed shot, saved by the keeper, and Matty Pearson from right back comes in, falls over, hits his chest and goes into the net. Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0.
Huddersfield 2 points clear of the bottom 3. They've done well under their caretaker manager John Worthington.
Well, Bayern Munich, they are not happy with a decision which doesn't go against them, because Thomas Müller makes a run. It's a high line from Lazio at the back. runs in behind. He's actually offside. The flag goes up late for offside, but Muller was claiming he was hauled down. It's irrelevant. He's offside.
Aberdeen are staging a fight back at Pittodrie in the Scottish Premiership. Remember, Rangers are still being held by Ross County 1-1 at Ibrox, but at Pittodrie, Aberdeen, who were 3-0 down, have now got it back to 3-2. So they're 3-2 down. Isaacson forward, edge of the area, stopped by Kimmich. Releases it to Musiala, picks it up left-hand side, midway through his own half. Advances over the halfway line now. 25 minutes played here in Rome. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And it remains 0-0. Mazraoui rolls it out towards Sane, midway through the Lazio half on this near side. Sane infield, back it goes, Kimmich, Mazraoui on the stretch. It goes out of play for a Bayern throw. Goal at Millwall, Flo Pollock.
Ipswich in front, Millwall 0, Ipswich 1. It came from a corner. Hutchinson then curled it in, and Broadhead flicked it on into the back of the net. Millwall 0, Ipswich 1.
They'll stay fourth in the Championship, but they started tonight 6 points adrift of second place Leeds United. As the ball with Kimmich. Upamecano lets it come across his body outside the centre circle. That allows him to hit a first-time right-footed ball out towards Sane. Stopped by Felipe Anderson and held up by Anderson. Sane back to Upamecano. Every outfield player in the Lazio half. It remains goalless here in the Stadio Olimpico. Now with Kimmich, Upamecano looking to try and increase the tempo. You sense our Bayern Munich here. Mazraoui is forward. Mazraoui tries to get away from Husai. Goretzka's first time ball bobbled, and Husai will play the ball back, and then the clearance from Romagnoli, the central defender for Lazio, out of play. It goes for a throw. 26 minutes in, 0-0, Chris.
Yep, and Lazio showing in these early stages that they're a very well organised team, defending very well. The odd opportunity, it's just not quite happened for Bayern Munich in that final third as of yet.
Guerrero forward on that far side, the left, back to Musiala. Kimmich, his diagonal ball not cut out in the first attempt by Luis Alberto. Felipe Anderson was the one to head it away. Guendouzi turned and was caught by Kimmich, and he felt that challenge, and the referee Texier gives a free kick to Lazio as his fellow Frenchman Guendouzi hobbles, but he's back onto his feet. 0-0.
Yeah, also got to say Harry Kane has had the biggest chance of the game, which he normally gobbles up, but Bayern Munich have been a little bit careless with their passing. Kimmich and Goretzka especially.
They're really the only two chances, though. That one for Harry Kane that Chris is talking about, and then that Luis Alberto effort that was off target from distance. No goals. Never felt it was going to be a high-scoring game. 6 times Lazio have won by a goal to nil here at home this season. That's the most common scoreline. And they'd certainly take that to Bavaria for 3 weeks' time as Kimmich rolls it towards Sane, runs through towards Muller, helps it now to Mazraoui, high up on the near right-hand side. Mazraoui enters the penalty area. Mazraoui had Muller on the overlap, decided not to use it. Goretzka goes flying forward, no free kick. The 3 Italian journalists in front of me were all wagging their finger at the referee. He didn't give it. They've lost the ball now. Goretzka, Harry Kane, back towards Kimmich, can't get a sight of goal, outside the D of the penalty area. Musiala, left-hand side of the box now for Bayern Munich. The whistles intensify inside the Stadio Olimpico. They're looking for a shooting opportunity. They've worked it to Sane, left-hand side, chips the ball in, and then it's kneed away by Romagnoli.
Tell you what they do, they get back in numbers, Lazio, and work incredibly hard to block crosses, stop the angle. Bayern Munich, when they're trying to shoot, just hanging on in there.
Here is Kimmich, diagonal ball, looks for the run of Guerrero, first time layoff. Musiala inside left channel, just outside the box, again closed down very, very quickly. Upamecano with an effort, but he's flashed high and wide from a good 30 yards out from goal. And with half an hour almost played here on BBC Radio 5 Live, it remains Lazio 0, Bayern Munich 0.
Yeah, there was a bit of venom in that shot from Upamecano, but high and wide.
Back it goes to Provdal, the Lazio goalkeeper, all in orange, away towards our right. Guendouzi, Cataldi, that late replacement for Vecino. They've given the ball away, can't hold on to it really. Lazio in the midfield. Up at Meccano, Mazraoui, they exchange passes in the Bayern Munich defence. And then Kim, certainly from what Ralf Honigstein was saying ahead of the game, they do look at it a lot more settled, don't they, with a revert to the flat back four, the natural formation that we saw them in that victory against Manchester United at the end of the group stages. Musiala goes to ground and gets a direct free kick for Bayern Munich, central position just outside the D.
You know what, this is magic from Musiala, it really is. He's got 3 or 4 Lazio players around him. The ball is played to him in a tight space, must be 30 yards from goal, and he manoeuvres himself through them and draws the foul. This is a big opportunity now, this, for Bayern Munich. Good shooting position. I think this is just about the perfect range for a free kick. Well, 25 yards?
Yeah, there's a whole host of likely takers. There must be at least 5 of them having a discussion. Müller, Kimmich, Harry Kane naturally involved, Sane, Goretzka's hovering nearby as well. Bayern Munich in all black, playing from left to right with this free kick. It's fractionally right of centre, just outside the D. Lazio have got everybody back. Isaacson is lying down behind the wall in that draft excluder role to try and help out his goalkeeper, Provedel.
Looks like Harry Kane, doesn't it?
Kane's the one who adjusts the ball. Sane is also there. Goretzka and Kimmich aside of the ball, won't be them. Harry Kane leaves it, in fact it's touched and worked towards Sane, who hits it. It was one off the training ground, left-footed, that looked close.
Oh, it did. They fooled me, Bayern Munich, at that one. Harry Kane runs over the ball, and then the ball's popped into Thomas Müller. A couple of yards away, Sane runs onto it and he hammers a shot just past the right-hand post of Provedel. That couldn't have been far away.
Half-time at Home Park, Plymouth 0, Coventry 0, but there has been a goal in that vital game down at the bottom in the Championship. Stoke against Queen's Park Rangers, Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to Stoke, Stoke 1, QPR 0, Baker with a corner, flicked on, stroked in at the back post by Wouter Berger, and there's the half-time whistle right on cue. Stoke 1, QPR 0.
And we'll go to Millwall now, Flo Pollock.
Millwall 0, Ipswich 2. Ipswich have taken control of this game. Nice move down the left, ball across the box, in off a Millwall player, own goal. Millwall 0, Ipswich 2.
12 minutes to go to half-time. It remains 0-0 here in this Champions League. Last 16, first leg tie, Lazio against Bayern Munich. The details of that first half, Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, Plymouth 0, Coventry 0. Playoff chasing Sky Blues should be in front. Matt Godden somehow headed wide from 3 yards out. Ryan Heide closest for Plymouth, but he was denied by the legs of Bradley Collins. Plymouth 0, Coventry 0.
Isaacson heads the ball forward, but Lazio not willing to chase that. And the South Korean Min Jae Kim, who did ever so well for Napoli that season when they won the title after they'd signed him from Fenerbahce, back on Italian soil here in Stadio Olimpico with the easiest of tasks to bring the ball under control. Upper Meccano lays it out towards Mazraoui, short diagonal ball. Sane uncharacteristically gives the ball away. Luis Alberto will try and get away from Harry Kane, and Lazio will benefit from that run. It'll be a throw to Lazio.
Yeah, poor place pass from Sane, trying to link up with Harry Kane, which has done to good effect this season, but wayward. Lazio win the free kick.
So Husai is going to take the throw for Lazio. Half-time at Huddersfield now, Shojo Saka.
Yes, at the break, Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0. A smart free kick by Huddersfield surprised Anthony Patterson in the Sunderland goal. He did save Jack Rudoni's shot, but he couldn't keep out Matty Pearson off the rebound, chesting in off balance. Sunderland haven't quite got their final ball right yet. Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0.
Still goalless here in Rome. Lazio with Mario Hila, 23-year-old Spanish central defender, plays the ball back and then gets the ball from Providelli's goalkeeper. Guendouzi now over on that far side, the right, goes square. This is Alessio Romagnoli, Italian international defender, but a wasteful ball, poor distribution, out from the back, straight through to Manuel Neuer.
Yeah, it was sheer panic in the end. Gila looking to pop a pass into the centre forward Immobile, or a run in behind, under pressure from Leroy Sané, and ended up just punting the ball straight down the pitch to Neuer.
Kim out to Guerrero, far side. Back now with Kimmich on the halfway line. Mazraoui inverted, the right back. Muller provides the width near side, the right. Chips the ball forward. Goretzka's made the run. Good header away by Hiller, and then hooked further clear by Cataldi. Kim steps out of defence for Bayern Munich, helped out by Guerrero. All a little bit rushed, and they actually lose the ball, but it will go out of play for a Bayern throw, far side the left, still 0-0.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a moment from Lazio, where they try and take their opportunity, because Bayern are so dominant in possession and territory.
Here is Muller, Mazraoui back with Muller. Upamecano almost midway through the Lazio half, passes it out towards Muller once again. It's a good crossing. Harry Kane was reaching for it, brushed the top of his head, kept in play far side by Guerrero. Musiala goes on the outside. Musiala's done well, down towards the byline with the cutback, and there was Luis Alberto preventing from reaching Harry Kane, and Guendouzi will try and run it out of that penalty area for Lazio, who are coming under real pressure from Bayern. Another goal in that Women's League Cup quarter-final. Henry Moran.
And Arsenal will be in that semi-final. They lead by 4-0. Alicia Russo's header beyond the goalkeeper. London City Lionesses 0, Arsenal win 4.
Half-time at Deepdale in the Championship. Preston still lead Middlesbrough by 1-0. Another goal at Ibrox. Ailey Barber.
And that is the half-time whistle as well. And at the break, it is Rangers 2, Ross County 1. Cyril Dessers with his second of the evening, just squeezing a header past Wickens. It has been dominant from Rangers. They haven't been quite as ruthless in front of goal as I'm sure Philippe Clement would have liked, but that goal right on the half-time whistle means they go in at the break with the lead, level on points as things stand with Celtic at the top of the table. It is Rangers 2, Ross County 1.
And another game in the Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen 2, Motherwell 3 remains the latest from Pittodrie. Guendouzi tried to get Maricic forward, the right back, but they've lost the ball. Now it's with Kimmich. Upamecano, central defender, approaching the halfway line, looks to thread a ball towards Mazraoui. A tumbling Husai will play it back towards Providel, his goalkeeper. And Lazio calm in possession.
Yeah, what's been noticeable in this first half, this is a Bayern Munich team who have been pretty dominant, but they haven't played with their usual swagger.
Alberto with a curling ball. Isaacson cuts in field now from that right side and hits a left-footed dipping effort. The crowd might have gone with a bit of an ooh as it dropped, but it wasn't really posing too many problems to Manuel Neuer.
No, but really positive play on that right-hand side, driving the inside, getting a shot off.
Just thinking about it, last night you had John Murray after that Haaland challenge that he reckoned he'd been knocked, what was it, 10 feet in the air. He did his Hong Kong Phooey impression with Haya. We had a Haya last night, and we've got a Husai here tonight with Lazio's left back, Elsid Husai. Ball poorly given away by Lazio. Harry Kane into the penalty area, cuts it back. There was Guendouzi, back towards Plags up on the near side. Providel had to really dig that one out, though. He wasn't to know that at the time. But Lazio were a little bit sloppy in possession. And we were talking about Hayes and Husais.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper just switched off, trying to feed a pass into midfield to Cataldi. Played a 40-yard ball. Kimmich read it. Quick ball into Harry Kane, who tried to turn, I think it was Healer, And had he done that, would have had the easiest opportunity of popping the ball into an empty net, but Healer stood strong as the ball came back to Harry Kane. Ball crossed in. An offside decision. Lazio get away with one.
It remains 0-0 as we edge our way towards the break. 6 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live. Here inside the Stadio Olimpico. Sane quickly closed down by 4 sky blue shirts of Lazio. But he passes the ball in field, and Kimmich runs into the centre circle and then passes the ball out towards Guerrero. His forward ball to Musiala. The whistles from the Italian supporters as Bayern Munich are once again in possession. But they've dominated this half with their possession. Kimmich just haven't been able to find that cutting edge in the final third. This is intricate though, as Goretzka towards Musiala, and he gets the shot away. It's off target. They almost carved their way through the Lazio defence. Musiala couldn't find the target. 0-0.
But that was the best piece of football we've seen by a stretch. Brilliant, incisive, one-touch passing from Bayern Munich, and as the ball is popped out, I think it's from Muller to Musiala, he's 8 yards from goal, one-on-one, has to score, blazers over. I mean, that was one hell of an opportunity, one hell of a chance. Talk about Harry Kane's chance, that was another one, big opportunity, but they worked it so well, didn't they?
Wherever you look, whether it be to the end towards our right or the end towards our left, the Lazio fans are jumping up and down in unison. They are creating a wonderful backdrop to this game in the Champions League with the constant noise that they are creating, offering their vocal support, knowing that only the third appearance in the knockout stages, 2000 and 2021, looking for the first appearance in a quarter-final of the Champions League for the first time in 24 years. But they know their role of the underdogs as they still hold on against Bayern Munich. 0-0 here, and from a throw on that right, Isaacson, formerly of Michelin. Back it goes now in field. Cataldi is available from Romagnoli, helps it on its way out towards Felipe Anderson. Nice sharp turn, left Mazraoui for dead. Bayern Munich get a foot into the challenge, picked up by Cataldi. Anderson has stayed central. Guendouzi gives it back to Felipe Anderson. Now out towards Marasic. Now, rarely every outfield player is in the Bayern half, but it was a poor cross that came in from Isaacson on the right. And Bayern Munich with Harry Kane midway through his own half, holds it up, lays it towards Müller, passes it now out towards the right. Sane. Whistles will tell you that Bayern are now coming forward and they're in possession. As Sane does well until stepping out was Healer, and now Felipe Anderson, Immobile, over the halfway line, only 2 ahead of him. The captain holds onto the ball, Felipe Anderson will curl it, midway through the Bayern half. Guendouzi forward with his mop of hair, Isaacson to the edge of the area, turns, Isaacson still going, pulls it back, Immobile can't get there, and what looked promising just broke down inside that final third for Lazio, and Bayern are able to bring it clear with Mazraoui.
Listen to the racket inside the stadium. It's really good from Isaacson because he likes to come inside on his left foot. As the ball is popped out from Guendouzi, who made a driving run, he chops the other way, goes outside on his right foot, puts a cross in, and it's just out of Immobile's reach, just behind him, and the chance had gone.
Thomas Tuchel is out of the off the bench in that technical area, watching on. A man who's expected to deliver, any coach of Bayern Munich is. As Sane on the right, low ball in, cleared easily by Romagnoli.
Had time there, Leroy Sane.
Müller, Mazraoui on the right, first time cross from the 6 yards up on this right hand side. Lazio getting up towards Felipe Anderson, who's being pulled back a little bit by Goretzka. Luis Alberto releases Immobile down this left-hand side. Last touch though for Lazio captain. It'll be a Bayern throw midway through their own half. 0-0 it remains as we have 90 seconds remaining.
It's been a good scrap that, hasn't it? Immobile and Meccano. Immobile once again, it's not the quickest. It's not going to be at 33, but prepared to make that movement in behind and stretch the Bayern Munich backline. Meccano sticking with him, winning the throw-in.
Ball played short by Goretzka. Back it goes to the midfielder. Kimmich seeing a lot of the ball. Kim passes it out towards Guerrero on that far side. Inside the last 60 seconds we go. Still Lazio 0, Bayern Munich 0. Thomas Tuchel turns to his bench. He looks a little frustrated. He's a man under pressure. A little bit like when you're driving home on Valentine's Day and you've forgotten the flowers for your loved one. Thomas Tuchel knows that he's got to get silverware. 2011 was their last trophyless season, 13 years ago. His job may well rest on Champions League success this season.
That sounded like a confession from you there.
Well, I do well to drive home and forget the flowers when I'm with you. Guendouzi on the halfway line for Lazio. Can they break in the dying embers of this first half? Isaacson back towards Guendouzi. First time shot cleared by Kim. Again, it promised a lot but delivered very little for Lazio. And there indeed is the half-time whistle. And a lot of the Italian around us are standing up to applaud. Lazio have worked hard, they've battled, they've tried to reduce Bayern Munich to a number of few opportunities. But Lazio 0, Bayern 0. Chris Sutton.
Yep, Lazio have been dogged, they've defended pretty well, but the two big chances of the half have gone to Bayern Munich. Harry Kane from 6-7 yards early on. You normally see him gobble those up, and then Musiala with the best piece of play in the whole half. Quick, incisive passing on the edge of the box. Ball popped out to the left-hand side. Musiala 8 yards out. Goal at his mercy. Hit over the bar. But Lazio, I think they'll be happy with their first half. Gone in level. And Bayern Munich, Thomas Tuchel, an animated figure he's cut at times in his technical area, will be demanding and expecting more in the second half.
Half-time then here in Stadio Olimpico. Lazio 0, Bayern Munich 0. Mark.
Just before we talk about that first 45 minutes in Rome, let's go back to the Den. It has been a great first half for the visitors Ipswich. Flo Pollock.
A great first half for the Tractor Boys, yes, Mark. Millwall 0, Ipswich 3. Kiefer Moore with a header at the back post. Millwall fans are streaming out of the Den now as we approach half-time. Millwall 0, Ipswich 3.
Elsewhere in the Championship, all of these are half-times. Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0. Goalless between Plymouth and Coventry. Preston are a goal up on Middlesbrough. Stoke 1, QPR 0. It's been a bit of a scrap this, Chris Sutton, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been, and I think we expected, nothing less than that. And Lazio have been pretty, dogged and hung on in there. Their defensive record has been pretty good this season. They have limited Bayern Munich to few chances, but Bayern Munich should be ahead. The quality of chance which they've had. I've mentioned Kane and mentioned Musiala, and they just haven't been ruthless. Lazio haven't carried a big enough threat. Immobile has been isolated at times, but I don't think we expected Lazio to really try and take the game to Bayern Munich, because that would play into their hands. But I think at this moment in time, Maurizio Sarri will be in there at half-time thinking, well, this is okay, but can they create a moment themselves in the second half where which they can take and get the all-important win?
I mean, Statman Davies with us as well, but Bayern have had attempts, but they actually haven't had a shot on target.
No, not yet. And I think one of the big things that we saw at the weekend as well against Bayer Leverkusen was Harry Kane not being involved. He only completed 9 passes at the weekend, and in the first half, in 45 minutes, he completed just 4. It's interesting in a sense. There was a few times 4 passes in 46 minutes, so he's not involved. The 2 times where Muller and Kane nearly linked up, and I think one of them was a scoop pass with Harry Kane, another one was right at the end where Kane was driving through. It was almost like they were out of sync, Muller and Harry Kane, whereas we expect Lewandowski and Thomas Muller, when they play together, they really kind of move off each other and play almost on instinct. I think that relationship still needs to build for them to, score some goals in that second half.
But can I just say,
yeah,
Mark, so I understand what Dave's saying, but the chance Harry Kane actually did have was from a brilliant cushion volley from Thomas Muller on the byline. Kane should have scored. So I understand all the stats are important, but you know, the type of chances that Bayern Munich have had, huge chances they haven't taken.
I think it was more on the other way around, Chris. It was more Harry Kane trying to link with Thomas Muller than the other way around. I agree with that. Was probably the best move of the half, in behind the defence with Thomas Muller off the ball.
I mean, what kind of summed up that first half a little bit from the Bayern point of view at the end was that Leroy Sané cross with about 90 seconds to go, which was dreadful. They're not really like a knife through butter, are they, Chris, at the moment?
No, and you know, that's noticeable. You know, maybe the impact of the defeat against Bayer Leverkusen at the weekend, but this isn't. I mean, I watched Bayern Munich, demolish Manchester United at Old Trafford. I know it was only 1-0, but they strolled through the game. There was a confidence about them and a swagger about them, and they've lacked that. I think some of the passing has been really careless, albeit they've dominated the territorially. They certainly haven't been as slick as they would have liked to have been.
Right then, goalless in Rome between Lazio in Bayern. God, this is a thriller this evening. Goalless in Paris as well. John Akers.
Yeah, this has been pretty bad, but Real Sociedad absolutely sticking to the script and doing what you expect them to do. 3 of their last 4 have been 0-0, and they hit the bar right at the end of the half as well through Marino from 25 yards. Great strike, pinged off the top of the crossbar. Best chance, Mbappe, a one-on-one from a tight angle. Ramiro with the save. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Real Sociedad 0.
In the Championship, they're back underway at home. Parko, this is goalless as well, Hamish.
Yeah, still 0-0, and we're 4 minutes into the second half. So as it stands, Coventry, they're back in the playoff places, Mark. They've looked the more likely side in this match, it has to be said, but they've only created one clear-cut chance in the first half. That was Matty Godden heading wide from 3 yards out. I do not lie. And Godden's just had their one chance in the second half. That was saved by the legs of the Plymouth Argyle keeper, Connor Hazard. 49 minutes played, Plymouth 0, Coventry 0.
Half-time whistle has gone at the Den. Home fans not happy. Flo Pollock.
Not happy, Mark. They booed their side off. Half-time, Millwall 0, Ipswich 3. Millwall actually started really brightly, but once Ipswich took the lead, they really crumbled. Headed goals from Nathan Broadhead and Kiefer Moore, and an own goal from Wes Harding. Half-time, Millwall 0, Ipswich 3.
Let's go to the Bet365 Stadium next. Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 1, QPR 0. 4 minutes gone in the second half. Wouter Berger's goal is what separates the two teams. Stoke, good value for that 1-0 lead as well. Berger, Rose and Ennis all going close. Just the one goal to show for their dominance though at the moment. Stoke 1, QPR 0.
And Shojo Saka next.
Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0. 3 minutes into the second half. Sunderland have had a penalty shout early in this second half. Pierre Ekwa back heeling to try to find his teammate. It came off, I think, a Huddersfield elbow. It couldn't quite tell. They got away with it anyway. Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0.
A couple of great games in the Scottish Premiership after the first half. Aberdeen 2, Motherwell 3 at Pittodrie. Motherwell had been 3-0 up. And Rangers are only 2-1 up at Ross County as they come out for the second half. Ailey Barber.
Yeah, just kicked off here for the second half, and yeah, Rangers made heavy work of that first half, but they were utterly dominant. 21 shots on goal, 10 of them on target. They hit the woodwork twice. Cyril Dessers had one blocked on the line, but they did score twice through the Rangers striker. Dessers with his 13th and 14th goals off the season has Rangers ahead at the moment, and that means that they go level on points with Celtic at the top of the Scottish Premiership as things stand, which is an incredible turnaround. 7 points adrift they were when Philippe Clement came into the role here at the Ibrox club. They could be level and possibly even top if they can find another couple of goals this evening. If they can win by 3 goals tonight, they will go above Celtic for the first time in 18 months. So a huge game here at Ibrox. The crowd are out on force despite a pretty grim old night in Glasgow, and it is as the second half just gets underway. Rangers 2, Ross County 1.
They need to win by 3 goals. Arsenal are winning by 4 goals in the Women's League Cup. Henry Moran.
Yeah, they look set for a place in the League Cup semi-final at home to Aston Villa. They've dominated this game and thoroughly deserve to be heading through. 2 goals from Chloe Lacasse, a Kim Little penalty, and Alicia Russo, the England international, off the bench, straight in the action with a good downward header to make it 4. Deep in added time, London City Lionesses 0, Arsenal Women 4.
6 minutes to 9, you're listening to 5 Live on a Wednesday evening. Johnny Freeman has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. And we start with some breaking news from the US. 2 arrests have been made after gunshots were fired near to Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade. Police say multiple people were injured when it happened earlier at the conclusion of the event in Kansas City. Thousands have been welcoming home the NFL team after they beat the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas on Sunday. Elsewhere, Ukraine's new commander-in-chief has described the situation on the front line of the war with Russia as extremely difficult. General Alexander Syrskyi has spoken just as the Ukrainian military claimed it had destroyed a Russian warship. Our correspondent Nick Erdley reckons that could be a significant moment.
It would be the second successful strike in the Black Sea in this month. It could be a sign that Ukraine's drone attacks are starting to work. The war in Ukraine's been stuck for months. We've heard a lot about that in recent weeks. Attacks like this are unlikely to change that materially, but they would be a big confidence boost.
4 people have died during an extensive wave of Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon. They were launched after Hezbollah rocket fire killed a soldier in northern Israel. It comes as ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas have continued in Egypt. And Labour has promised tighter screening of its prospective MPs after suspending 2 of its candidates for comments they made about Israel and the conflict in Gaza. The party has removed its backing from Azhar Ali in the Rochdale by-election and suspended Graham Jones, who is due to stand at the general election in nearby Hyndburn.
Discover a different side to social media
with 2 brand new podcasts on BBC Sounds.
Follow me, Mariana Spring, in Why Do You Hate Me, where I meet people at the centre of extreme online trolling.
I've got 2 daughters. I've got friends who love me. It's really upsetting for them.
I never meant to hurt anyone.
And in The Gatekeepers, find out who decides what we see on our screens with me, Jamie Bartlett.
We will never be the same again because of a couple of people in a room making decisions for everybody around the planet.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Goalless in both games in the Champions League this evening. We'll be back in Rome for the second half of Lazio Bayern. It's also Paris Saint-Germain 0, Real Sociedad 0. But there has been an opening goal in the match between Plymouth and Coventry in the Championship. Which way, Hamish?
It's gone to Plymouth. The home side lead by a goal to 0. And you might guess the goal scorer, Morgan Whittaker, 18 for the season. Set up on the left-hand side by Adam Randall. Square to Whittaker, 12 yards out. Made no mistake. Plymouth Argyle 1, Coventry 0.
He's absolutely flying this season, is Morgan Whittaker. Still Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0, Preston 1, Middlesbrough 0 and Stoke 1, QPR 0, all into the second half in those games. Mark Wood has been recalled to the England side ahead of their 3rd test against India. That starts tomorrow. It's the only change from the 2nd test, with leg spinner Rehan Ahmed being confirmed to play after struggling with his visa. There's a preview TMS pod out now, includes an interview with Ben Stokes and one with his mum ahead of his 100th test appearance. Now, Manitou Alangi has been included in England's initial 36-man squad to face Scotland in the Six Nations at Murrayfield in 10 days' time. He's expected to compete with Fraser Dingwall for the inside centre position. Dingwall made his test debut in the opening win over Italy, and he's been speaking to Mantej Mann.
Fraser, 2 games, 2 wins at the start of your international career. Test rugby is easy, isn't it?
Oh, no, yeah, I wouldn't say it's that easy. No, it's not that easy. Yeah, obviously, really pleasing start, getting those 2 wins and 2 performances that the group's been reasonably proud of. There's still a lot for us to grow on and get a lot better, but in terms of starts, it's been really positive.
You've opened your test account as well in the win over Wales. What was your first emotion at scoring that try in the corner?
I don't really know. A lot came out of me. I think you probably saw it from various images. I just kind of, a lot of elation, and then both my calves cramped, so then it was quickly taken away by a bit of pain, and then before I knew it, Slady then came up and round and hit me. So yeah, it was all a bit of a blur, but an unbelievable experience.
But a nice moment.
Yeah, one I will cherish forever, basically. That's something that I've got now, and no one can ever take it away from me. So it's something I can always look back on very, very fondly.
Manitou Alangi has been recalled to the squad, having recovered from injury. Healthy competition at 12?
Yeah, very healthy competition, I think. he offers something different to the centres we've got, and so he's obviously very experienced as well. So I spent time with Manu before. If I can learn off him, and also if we can find a way that we can complement each other in training as well, then that's just great for the squad.
That was Fraser Dingwall talking with Mantej Mann. A final whistle has gone in the Women's League Cup. Henry Moran.
London City Lionesses 0, Arsenal 4. Arsenal's women heading through to a League Cup semi-final at home to Aston Villa. 2 from Chloe Lacasse, a Kim Little penalty just before the break, and Alicia Russo providing the header to make it 4-0. Arsenal dominant, on course to retain the Conti Cup. They're through to the semi-finals. London City Lionesses 0, Arsenal women 4.
Heck of a game at Pittodrie. Aberdeen, 6 minutes into the second half, have come from 3-0 down at home to Motherwell to level it at 3-3. So it's 3-3 there. Rangers still lead Ross County by 2-1. Back to Shoujo Sakura at Huddersfield, Sunderland.
Yes, Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0, but Huddersfield have come so close to a second. They had another chance just then. It was a free kick from outside the box. Josh Koroma with the shot, low, curling, it hit the post. Keeper would have had no chance, but it is still Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0.
Still Plymouth 1, Coventry 0, Preston 1, Middlesbrough 0, and Stoke 1, QPR 0. So goalless in the 2 Champions League games, Paris Saint-Germain against Real Sociedad and Lazio against Bayern. Will return to the Stadio Olimpico. Thanks to whoever sent this text in, there's no name on it. Which bright spark put the 3 grumpiest men on national radio together tonight on Valentine's night? That's a bit harsh on Statman Dave. Back to Ian and Chris.
Oh, here we are, no changes have been made. We're about to get back underway. Lazio against Bayern Munich. Lazio in their sky blue shirts, white shorts, and the second half restarts. So they have Provedel in goal, Maricic, Romagnoli, Hiller and Husay in defence. Guendouzi, Cataldi and Luis Alberto. Remember, they made that change after Vecino was injured in the warm-up, with Cataldi replacing him at the very last minute. Isaacson, Immobile and Felipe Anderson. Bayern Munich in the all-black with a red trim have Neuer in goal, a back four of Matsraoui, Kim, Upamecano and Guerrero at left-back, Goretzka and Kimmich in the centre of midfield, Sane to the right, Musiala to the left and Thomas Müller in behind Harry Kane. And Aberdeen have got it back at 3-3 now in Pittodrie. They were 3-0 down, and Middlesbrough have just equalised at Deepdale. Preston 1, Middlesbrough 1. So it was tight, and it was a bit of a scrap in that first half. Will we see any quality and anybody prevail in the second period, Chris?
I've got to say, I'd like to see Lazio be a little bit more courageous. This is their chance tonight. The city, famous for its gladiators, fighters of courage. They've sort of sat in and been happy to counter. I'd like to see them go for the jugular a bit more. And of course, if they do that, then I suppose you could argue they'll play into Bayern Munich's hands. I don't think Thomas Tuchel was too happy at half-time. I think his half-time team talk was short and shrift. He was out early, sitting in the dugout. Maybe a few harsh words. He'll expect more quality from his Bayern Munich team in the second half.
Maybe it's catching this grumpy mood, spreading from the 5 Live commentary position all the way down to the technical area. Although who's to say that 2 of the 3 weren't actually in the studio or back in Salford, as the Lazio supporters in the Curva Nord away towards our left-hand side, swirling their blue and white scarves around their heads as the flags continue to fly throughout. Luis Alberto lifts the ball forward. Here is Isaacson in for Lazio, steadies himself, and Neuer makes the save. Never really had a great deal of conviction, and Neuer made the save, but Isaacson had such a good opportunity to get the opening goal of the night, and he couldn't take it.
Lazio's biggest moment. I think he had an accidental touch in there, Ian. What a pass from Luis Alberto. Good run from Isaacson. 1v1, had time to steady himself, which he did do. He composed himself, and then just as he's going to shoot, pull the trigger, he takes an extra touch. I think he didn't mean to do it, and then all of a sudden the angle was against him, and Neuer, so good, made himself big and made the save. But that was the moment. Lazio didn't take their opportunity.
There's a gentleman down below in the posh seats here in the Stadio Olimpico with his navy overcoat and his grey hair. He's just stood up and waved his sky blue and white scarf furiously. That was possibly, could be the best chance that they create all night. They've struggled to create clear openings, and Isaacson just couldn't take it, but they are in possession now. Felipe Anderson played forward. Anderson enters the penalty area rather than going for goal. He tried to cut it back to Immobile. They get a corner kick, and listen to the Roman response.
Yeah, what a start to the second half. Really flown out of the traps, haven't they? Really good run on that left-hand side. Cross came in, defended well from Bayern Munich. On the flip side of that, talk about Thomas Tuchel. Seemed agitated, sitting on his bench.
This huge bowl of a stadium will go berserk if Lazio score. Corner kick, swung over, and the header is behind, diverted for another corner kick. Bayern have got everybody back in the end away towards our right-hand side. It was swung over with a lot of pace from that far side. Bayern Munich now are having to defend. Zonal marking for Bayern Munich at the moment. Mario Hila, this time it's rolled short. Isaacson, back to Alberto, curls it in, headed out by Harry Kane this time. Bouncing ball, and preventing it from reaching Sane was Cataldi. But now all of a sudden they are able to counter. Sane running forward. Ball played out towards Musiala, keeps it in play, has to hurdle the advertising hoardings for a little nudge in the back was Musiala. Bayern Munich back with Musiala again on the left. 5 minutes into the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds in the Stadio Olimpico. 0-0. Preston are back in front incidentally at Deepdale. Preston 2, Middlesbrough 1 is a latest score there in the Championship. Huddersfield leads Sunderland by a goal to nil. Plymouth are 1-0 up at home to Coventry. Stoke lead Queen's Park Rangers by a goal to nil. And Millwall 0, Ipswich 3 is the latest from the capital. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Real Sociedad 0 elsewhere in the Champions League of round of 16. Rangers lead Ross County 2-1, 3-3 at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Motherwell. Bayern Munich now in possession. Kimmich, after that scare at the start of the second half, the whistles and the cheers and the boos intensify. Bayern Munich playing in front of Lazio. Up on Meccano. Out it goes to that far side. First time cross blocked. Felipe Anderson will play it back, and Romagnoli will clear the ball away for Lazio. But Mazraoui wins it back on the right hand side, slides it in low. Musiala had popped up at the near post. Behind it goes for a corner. Quickly we go to Plymouth goal. Hamish Marshall.
Equaliser for Coventry. Ellis Sims on the end of a long ball. His shot was blocked by Hazard in the Plymouth goal, but it fell to Sims and he was able to chest it over the line. Plymouth 1, Coventry 1.
Coventry and Sunderland both have chances tonight to move into playoff positions. They're both on 47 points. Sunderland, though, still trailing in West Yorkshire. But Coventry City with that equaliser in the second half at Home Park. Yet to see a goal here in the Stadio Olimpico. Lazio 0, Bayern Munich 0. Corner kick, though, as the temperature just starts to dip a little. Over on that far side, the right. It's an outswinger, delivered from the right. Headed out by Hina, fired back in by Mazraoui. Blocked from Alberto, balloons up in the air. And Bayern Munich will see the ball back to Manuel Neuer.
Yeah, good little spell actually for Bayern Munich. I feel they may have weathered the early impetus from Lazio in the second half. A really timely clearance from Romagnoli. Musiala looked like he was going to pop the ball in. It has been noticeable. Was noticeable. Leroy Sané going out on the same side as Kimmich there to take the corner. Two players out, you don't often see that, but I know there's been a bit of dissatisfaction about Kimmich's delivery this season from set plays.
Husai, strong run out of defence. Felipe Anderson overhits it. Manuel Neuer will clear, all in green for Bayern Munich. Chested forward by Romagnoli, and there's a Lazio player who's gone down. It's Elcid Husai, the captain of Albania, the left back, played under Sarri at Napoli. The 30-year-old who made that storming run is back to his feet, but he's hobbling. But it's still 0-0 here in the Champions League. The Opta predictor has Manchester City as the favourites, Real Madrid and Inter second and third, Bayern tucked in behind as fourth favourites for the competition before it resumed after its winter break. Little flick by Felipe Anderson, but it will easily be seen back by Upamecano. Where will we go then next? Plymouth against Coventry, Hamish Marshall.
Plymouth are back in front, they lead 2-1, they weren't level for long. Mikael Miller, the substitute, fierce shot from the left-hand side of the penalty area into the Coventry net off Bobby Thomas. Plymouth 2, Coventry 1.
So both Coventry and Sunderland missing out on their opportunity to move into a playoff position as Kimmich puts the ball out of play under pressure. The hard work paying off from Lazio, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and Immobile again working hard, centre forward position. They've come out of the traps in this second half, and I think that have gained confidence from the big chance which they did create.
Here is Sané latching onto a ball midway through the Lazio half. He's done well, Sané, under pressure, but eventually it will be Hila who breaks up the play. Maricic looking to come forward from his right-back role, inside to Isaacson, won back by Goretzka on the halfway line for Bayern Munich. 10 minutes into the second half, BBC Radio 5 Live as an electronic cart whizzes past in front of our eye line on the Royal Blue Athletics track, with two portly chaps in their luminous orange jackets as they disappear towards our left-hand side. Certainly travelling at a decent speed. Now it's with Bayern Munich looking to try and pick up the tempo in the early stages of this second period. 0-0. But Lazio are proving to be a hard side to break down. Goretzka. Guerrero. Kim on the halfway line. Pass it to the right of the centre circle for Upamecano. He invited Mazraoui forward and he slid, but couldn't keep it in play on that far side. And still a hobbling Husai waits to take a throw for the left-back for Lazio.
Yeah, hobbling Husai, got to say, the pass from Upamecano out on that right-hand side to Mazraoui was so poor. An easy pass, missing it. Just a turnover of possession once again.
Ball with Müller. Back to Goretzka, forward of the centre circle, tries to open it up for Guerrero, near side the left. Forward ball. Sané now operating on the left, swings over a first-time cross. Just have to see whether that's a temporary switch, or whether Sané, who played on the right in the first half, has switched with Musiala from Thomas Tuchel. Just saw a glimpse of him down on the technical area. He looks exasperated.
Yeah, well, he's a man under pressure, isn't he? Absolutely no doubt about that. It's been a season of underachieving so far, but you can still retrieve it. The comeback in the Bundesliga. They do have the capabilities of hurting any team on their particular day. They're off it tonight so far.
Ball played forward, hooked in first time. Kane had the header. Couldn't get over it. It was a looping header from 12 yards out, over the top, goal kick, 0-0 here on 5 Live.
Yeah, it was Thomas Müller actually making a run down the right-hand side, bouncing ball, just helps it into the box. Harry Kane, 12 yards out, level with the near post. But you're right, it was a Ball looped up and Kane couldn't direct his header on target, had to generate all his own power.
Husai, who's gone down, is broken down again. He just accelerated another darting run from left back, and he's unable to continue, I don't think. So they're going to be forced into a change here, Lazio. Can I just bring to your defence as well, to the anonymous texter? But I can't defend Lord Chapman for if he's been a little bit grumpy today. But with you, I've spent time in your company today. We've walked past the Fountain of Neptune. I took you to the Trevi Fountain, Hadrian Temple, the Pantheon. And I know you whinged a little bit about the amount of walking that we did, but I don't think you've been too grumpy.
No, we've had a great day in the sunshine, haven't we? We did have a long walk because you couldn't work your maps properly, could you? Which is remarkable. You're the only person I've ever seen follow maps, and for us to go the wrong way, we were sort of half a mile our hotel from the Trevi Fountain. We ended up walking about half a marathon to get there, didn't we?
I'm trying to show you a little bit of love on Valentine's night. I don't feel it's been reciprocated. I tell you what would have taken me a longer walk than that, to retrieve the coin that you tried to throw into the fountain and you missed. It's still rolling down a narrow Roman street as we speak. A goal at Paris Saint-Germain. John Akers.
And it's come for Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Real Sociedad 0. Mbappe scores it, wouldn't you just know it? Far post, volley, just a few yards out, 1-0.
Haven't missed any of the action here. The injury to Husai, he's broken down, and so he's going to be replaced by Manuel Lazzari, who's a 30-year-old defender who primarily plays on the right side. He's either a right back, right wing back. He can also play right side of midfield. He's an Italian international in his 5th season with the club. And in fact, he has operated on the right back. So that means Maricic has gone now to play on that left-hand side. So that's the change being forced for Maurizio Sarri, the former Chelsea manager, here at Lazio. An hour has been played. So while the deadlock has been broken elsewhere in that other time in last 16, Paris Saint-Germain leading Real Sociedad by 1-0 through Kylian Mbappe just before the hour. It remains 0-0 here. Lazio. Anderson picks it up over the halfway line, runs forward, diagonal ball is behind him, Erbilin. And he's easily played forward to Harry Kane, who was in that deep area for Bayern Munich. He rolls it out. Interception from Lazzari. Isaacson challenged by Kim, keeps the ball in play, pokes it forward. Referee says no foul on Isaacson. Thomas Tuchel is desperate to usher his players forward, but at times they have been a little bit slow, laborious.
Yeah, he is an angry man, isn't he, Thomas Tuchel, throwing his arms around, trying to get his team to pass the ball with greater speed, get a bit of tempo into the game. It hasn't happened just yet. Seen Harry Kane there with a couple of wayward passes. That's not like him.
Goretzka rolls it out to this near side. Rafael Guerreiro back with Goretzka, short inside to Kimmich. Every outfield player is in the Lazio half. Bayern Munich are playing from right to left as we look. Musiala looks like a player who could happen every time the ball goes to his feet. The former England youth international. Cross comes in, and the header from Sane in a central area runs away from goal. Picked up by Guerreiro, sends over a cross, headed out by Romagnoli. Immobile back, helping out for Lazio. He's got Isaacson ahead of him. There is no real outball though for Lazio. That was Luis Alberto who was giving chase, the dark-haired midfielder, but he was plodding his way through, and Bayern Munich are in possession, and once again they hit it long. Lazzari with the cutout, Guendouzi down to Isaacson, still maybe ruining that opportunity he had early in the second half, out towards the far side. Can't see where the punch is going to come from Lazio.
Well, they had the one opportunity, didn't they? Isaacson didn't take it. They'll be hoping to find another moment. I want to say Bayern Munich, they actually have set up differently in this second half, because Muller is predominantly off that right-hand side. Musiala playing in behind Harry Kane, and Sane off the left.
So Tuchel has switched it around, and Sane now on this near side, blocks the ball. Musiala in that central area, tried the early pass towards Sane, it was about 6 yards ahead of him, out of play it goes for a throw.
Yeah, I think he threw Muller in tonight. Thomas Tuchel talk about Bayern Munich lacking leaders, but the great player he has been, I'm not so sure that position off the right-hand side is where he's most effective. In a wide area, doesn't really have a trick to go by. Somebody, as an ageing player, has some wonderful touches. I think he's more effective in the 10 role. Watch him go and score now off the right.
Yeah. He hasn't had many goals this season, he's only scored a couple, but he's been such a legendary figure in German football for the national team as well as for Bayern Munich. He's actually closing in on Sepp Mayer's appearance record of 706, who the goalkeeper played for Bayern from 1962 to 1980. 706 appearances. This, for Thomas Muller tonight, is 692nd appearance, as Harry Kane drops deep to collect the ball over the halfway line. And now Mazraoui joins the attack and passes the ball out to Kane. Far side, the right, into Muller. Now to Musiala. Musiala with the cut back. Bayern Munich unable to get the shot away as Guendouzi goes down. And that will be a free kick to Lazio.
Well, they work it well. Harry Kane moves out wide, pops the ball into Thomas Muller off the right-hand side. Musiala makes the forward run. Muller feeds him. As he plays the ball across Muller, Guendouzi, that mop of hair, all perm and passion, isn't he? Gets back and makes a really important challenge.
Ball forward, up on Meccano. Didn't deal with that very effectively. Slipped under his right foot. It was Kim who was able, under no pressure whatsoever, to go back and retrieve the ball. Sane to Kimmich inside the Bayern half. Back to Guerrero, near side the left. 10 yards inside the Lazio half. Guendouzi, who's on loan from Marseille. They do have an option to buy him for 15 million euros. 82 appearances and just the one goal for Arsenal between 2018 and 22. 65 minutes played, still 0-0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Next live football for you on Saturday, 5 Live Sport. Mark Chapman on the air from 12. Burnley Arsenal is our commentary from 3 with the usual goal service. Manchester City Chelsea follows at 5:30. And then on Sunday, Sheffield United Brighton and Luton Manchester United as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. That to look forward to at the weekend. This is Kimmich. Musiala dispossessed, but because everybody was back for Lazio, now there's all of a sudden there's a break on with Felipe Anderson, and he's running at pace to the heart of the Bayern defence, and it's with Immobile, the captain. Immobile's done well, excellent footwork. Can he release it? Is he going all the way? Gets the shot away. Isaacson then with a left-footed effort, close down. The referee's given a penalty. The French referee Francois Letexier has given a penalty to Lazio. Bayern Munich protest, and Upamecano has been sent off. Drama inside the Stadio Olimpico. The French referee has shown red to his fellow countrymen. It was great work by Immobile.
Oh, it was. The ball popped out from Felipe Anderson, it was. Lazio on the break. He had the option of going to the right-hand side to Isaacson. That looked the better option, but he pops it left to Immobile, who jinxed his way inside. And then as the ball he turns, tries to get a shot off, and the ball eventually finds its way to Isaacson. And as he shoots, Upamecano comes in. And it's a high challenge. Upamecano, he's trying to block the shot. I've got to say, red card seems pretty harsh, but it's clumsy, if anything else. The shot goes past the post, but I think the award of the penalty is correct. I'm not so sure that that's a red card offence, though. I think there's an attempt to actually win the ball. In fact, he's overturned it and gone to it from a red to a yellow.
So that was Jerome Brissard, the VAR
Has he gone for a red too yet? What? Oh, he's given a yellow card to Joshua Kimmich.
Yeah, Upamecano is eventually leaving the field of play. Kimmich has been shown the yellow card. Upamecano has been sent off. And now it rests with Ciro Immobile.
Absolute bedlam in it.
The all-time leading scorer for Lazio. The captain, the talisman, from the penalty spot. Lazio, the underdogs in this last 16 tie, have a chance to take the lead here in the Stadio Olimpico. The Raw will tell you if Immobile is successful up against Manuel Neuer. Immobile runs up now, right-footed. Neuer goes the wrong way. There's the roar that reverberates throughout Rome, because Lazio lead by a goal to nil. It's a body blow for Bayern. Immobile was never going to miss. 1-0 to Lazio.
Yeah, listen to the noise. Didn't expect anything else, in truth. Lazio's very own gladiator, as cool as you like. Pops the ball to his right-hand side. Neuer's left. Neuer goes the wrong way. And we've got a shock on. And how are Lazio going to play this now? Bayern Munich down to 10 men. Are they going to go for the jugular? Try and put this tie to bed. Brilliant penalty. Calmest man in the stadium.
You know, a short while ago I mentioned the gentleman in the navy overcoat with the grey hair. He is tossing his blue and white scarf in the air. He's catching it. He's done it about 3 or 4 times. Everybody around us is up and out of their posh seats. The flags are flying. And Lazio, the underdogs, lead Bayern Munich by a goal to nil. But do they go for it? Do they stick or do they twist? Because they've got an opportunity now against the 10 men of Bayern to try and get a crucial second goal.
Oh, absolutely. And see, Goretzka has gone into that Bayern Munich back four. Going to make a change, but this is the chance for Lazio, isn't it?
Incidentally, November-December 2019 was the last time that Bayern Munich lost back-to-back games. They're going to have to make a change too. Bayern Munich, Matthias de Ligt is going to be coming on, a player who's meant to be frustrated at being left out at the weekend in that 3-0 defeat against Bayer Leverkusen. And also Lazio are going to be making a change, and Pedro, the veteran, is going to be coming on. The final, of course, is going to be played at Wembley this year. He scored the first goal at Wembley back in 2011. The former Chelsea and Barcelona player, 65 caps. In fact, it's going to be a double change as well. They're going to bring on Castellanos. So Maurizio Sarri is going to go for it. He's going to bring on 2 attacking players as Lazio will try and ramp home their advantage, leading by a goal to nil in the din here in Rome. Sane for Bayern Munich, into the area. Harry Kane. Back it goes, Kane dropping deeper and deeper, and eventually dispossessed.
The Lazio tails are up though, aren't they? But as Bayern are pushing Lazio back, they're being brave, still popping the ball about.
Bayern Munich down to 10 men with Upamecano sent off. This is Müller. Tries to slide the ball in. Musiala tries to get the shot away. Excellent defending, and it was Romagnoli who tracked back with him behind it, diverts for a corner kick. Goal in Paris now, elsewhere in the Champions League. John Akers.
And it's come for Paris Saint-Germain. They lead 2-0. A brilliant breakaway goal with a lovely finish at the end of it. They could take this 2-0 advantage into the second leg. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Real Sociedad 0.
De Ligt is coming on. Goretzka is the player who is going off. They've had to bring on another defender after the sending off of Upamecano. Motherwell, incidentally, are back in front. They were 3-0 up at Pittodrie. Aberdeen levelled at 3-3, but Harry Payton has put Motherwell 4-3 up there. Lazio still waiting to make the double change. You're going to wait for the corner kick for Bayern. In it comes now, and up from the back was Kim. He complains that he should have had another corner. He might get a yellow card here for dissent. No, as he runs away. Now the double change can be made. So Pedro, former Spanish international, coming on, and Castellanos as well, who had an extremely prolific record in his time with MLS. 51 goals he scored in 110 appearances for his time in America from New York City. He joined in the summer. He was on loan at Girona last season, where he scored 14 goals. So Isaacson comes off, and the other player coming off looks like it's going to be Immobile. So the goal scorer, the captain, Immobile and Isaacson off, and Pedro and Castellanos on. It's his 206th goal in his 325th appearance for Ciro Immobile, and it could be such a vital goal because it gives Lazio hope.
Yeah, big game player coming up, trumps again. I'll tell you what, love to see that whole incident again though. I thought the sending off was really harsh on Upamecano.
That goal incidentally disallowed for Motherwell, so it's back at 3-3. Aberdeen 3, Motherwell 3 after VAR. Just over 15 minutes remain. BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. And Lazio are leading Bayern Munich by a goal to nil. Lazzari at right back, little flick. Anderson's now playing on the right hand side. Musiala for the 10 men of Bayern will try and bring it away. Anderson gets a foot into the challenge. The ball is played back. And now it goes forward on that far side. Pedro will slow it down just over the halfway line. And then Cataldi has put the ball out of play. But what drama. And Bayern Munich 5 points adrift of Bayer Leverkusen, looking for a 12th successive Bundesliga title. And they were resting on the Champions League. I mean, you'd still probably fancy them to turn it around in Munich in 3 weeks' time.
Well, you would, which is what makes the remainder of this game so interesting, because Maurizio Sarri must think this is the chance, this is the opportunity, but he can't believe he's actually in this position. But does he gamble now and go for broke, or do they play with balance and just try and pick the moments again?
De Ligt passes the ball to his fellow central defender Kim for Bayern Munich. Musiala has come deep.
Yeah, he's just dropped a bit deeper, hasn't he? Kimmich is playing in that pivot role now, but Musiala helping him out in that central area.
Kim having to be patient. Lazio aiming for their first quarter-final in just under a quarter of a century. Have a precious lead. Musiala, mentioned at the start how 1-0 to Lazio is such a common scoreline for them here at home. Musiala drops his shoulder and he's away on the left-hand side. Lazzari, though, is back goal side, level the penalty area. Kimmich, diagonal ball, knocked up in the air by Sane, and couldn't keep the ball in play, and it will go to play for a goal kick as that plethora of flags continue to wave in that boisterous end towards our left-hand side. Full almost to capacity of the Stadio Olimpico, and Lazio lead by a goal to nil. They're in the last four of the Coppa Italia. They just wanted to still be in the tie to go to Munich in 3 weeks' time, and they could have a precious advantage to take with them if it stays like this. 12 minutes remain. Ball given away cheaply by Felipe Anderson. Ball played back by Guerrero for Bayern Munich to Manuel Neuer. Collects it. Castellanos is there in front of him. Sane's downward header to Mazraoui, far side the right, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. No other goals elsewhere to tell you about in the Championship. Important night of domestic action with a handful of games in the Championship as Kim floats the ball forward, bounces up onto the chest of Guerrero. Back then with Musiala, Kimmich almost midway through the Lazio half. Castellanos will put him under pressure. The Argentine forward. Now with De Ligt. Passes it out wide. Mazraoui.
Bayern Munich shouldn't have the control, which they do have. They're a man down. They're the team now popping the ball about. Pedro, the sub, has gone over to the left-hand side. Lazio, Felipe Anderson moved to the right-hand side, but they're just sitting on in there, trying to contain Lazio. I don't think they're going to get a better chance than this, though. You look at the tie as a whole. To Munich in a couple of weeks, but this is the time to go for it. It really is.
Well, they're going to bring on Daichi Kamada, a Japanese international who's an attacking midfielder who they signed from Eintracht Frankfurt. You might remember he won the Europa League when they beat Rangers in 2022 in Seville. Here though is Guerrero. His cross takes a bit of a deflection, allows Romagnoli to head the ball away. Bayern Munich, who incidentally have avoided defeat in each of their last 11 first legs in the last 16 of the Champions League. They've won 7 and drawn 4, but are trailing here. They've got such an excellent record at this stage of the competition. The 6 times winners of Europe's elite competition, but trailing here as Mario Gila, the Spanish defender, I think is the player who's down and he's got 2 physios on the pitch tending to him. Of course, this will be the final opportunity to make a change for Maurizio Sarri in this second half, so they'll have to make sure it's the correct one before Kamada comes on. Doesn't look like he's able to continue at this stage. He's wincing, I think he might have been winded, so they're going to wait. They're just going to wait, patrolling that technical area. Another goal meanwhile in the Scottish Premiership at Ibrox. Ailey Barber. An update, sorry, Ailey.
Not a goal here, Deno, and still Rangers 2, Ross County 1. It has been all Rangers again this second half, and then Ross County will have a little moment up the other end where you realise there's just 1 goal in it, but utter dominance from Rangers in this second half once again. They only have that solitary goal lead though, with around a couple minutes left here at Ibrox. It's Rangers 2, Ross County 1.
Sorry for the alarm. The reason why they were just slowing things down, as I said, it was their final opportunity to make a change. So Kamada will still come on. He'll replace Luis Alberto in the midfield, but Patrick will, another Spanish defender in his 9th season here, mainly as a right back, but he can also play defensive midfield. Comes on after he's actually not played since the middle of January through injury. He replaces Gila in defence for Lazio, who still lead by a 1-0. And Bayern are making a double change as well. Müller and Sane are the players who have come off, and we'll just get confirmation of those players who have come on. One of them was Mathys Tel, the French forward, so that was one of the players to have come on for Bayern Munich.
And Eric Choupo-Moting has come on as well, I think, Ian.
So Choupo-Moting is on as well as Tel. And it was Müller and Sane are the players who have gone off as Bayern down to 10 men, still trailed by a 0-0. Here is Choupo-Moting with the turn, running forward inside to Harry Kane, hits it first time, left-footed, blocked. Musiala out towards Guerrero. Lazio still lead. Tension building now with 8 minutes remaining of normal time. And Lazio, well, they've made changes, but they haven't gone for the jugular. They're protecting this 1-0 advantage against the 10 men of Bayern Munich. Goal at Plymouth in the Championship, Hamish Marshall.
A last gasp equaliser for Coventry. It's 2-2, and it's Victor Torp with a free kick from the edge of the penalty area. It's probably getting on there for Plymouth player. Coventry don't mind, they've got themselves a point. Plymouth 2, Coventry 2.
Do you think that Bayern, even before before they went to 10 men, have done enough? We said about, they're behind in the favourites list of Manchester City, Real Madrid and Inter Milan. Have they done enough for you in this first leg?
Had a couple of big chances in the first half, but it's all been slow, hasn't it? It's been pedestrian. Hasn't been the speed of play. And then you think, well, OK, Thomas Tuchel cut an angry figure, didn't he, in the first half? Went in, came out early, started the second half.
They've lost the ball through Tell. Guendouzi will bring it forward. Felipe Anderson on this near side, the right. Tried to tickle the ball on the inside towards Guendouzi. Tell now can bring it away for Bayern Munich. This young French forward, French youth international that they signed from Rennes after just 10 games in 2022. 6 goals he scored for Bayern last season. He's matched that tally already. Up towards Harry Kane, who again on the stretch goes straight past him and through towards Providel, the goalkeeper.
That's not great service for him, but he hasn't had his best game this evening. No, what I was saying about Thomas Tuchel, with what happened in the first half, you thought we'd see greater urgency at the start of the second half, and if anything, Lazio came out, took the game to Bayern Munich, and then that big decision from the referee for the sending off, I thought it was a penalty, but they're dominating possession, Bayern Munich, but really lacking that cutting edge.
Musiala driving forward, running at the heart of the Lazio defence, but lacked a little bit of support, and surrounded by the sky blue shirts as Harry Kane tried to pick up the loose ball and then gets a direct free kick. Full time at Plymouth, Hamish Marshall.
It's finished 2-2. Liam Kitching is the man who's taken the plaudits for getting that last gasp equaliser for Coventry. It was the last kick of the game, so Coventry have got a point that puts them back in the playoffs. Plymouth 2, Coventry 2.
We'll be going to Ibrox in a moment, but this is a direct free kick for Bayern Munich that is 25 yards out from goal. It is certainly within shooting distance.
Similar to the one in the first half, which they worked, didn't they? Sane got a shot off. Kane over the ball again.
Now Harry Kane is there. Guerrero is the other player off his left foot. It was a fancy move off the training ground in that free kick in the first half that almost paid off. This time I think it's just going to be a goal, or a go at goal for Harry Kane. Providel, all in orange, lines up the wall. Lazio lead by a goal to nil. Under 5 minutes remain of normal time. Harry Kane, poised, legs apart. Runs up now, right-footed, strikes the top of the wall and loops behind for a corner to Ibrox. Ailey Barber.
Have sealed all 3 points. A third goal of the evening. John Suter at the back post with a header which eventually squirmed past George Wickens. They've been dominant. They've eventually found that third goal. All 3 points will be at Ibrox, and Rangers will be joint top of the table with Celtic. It's Rangers 3, Ross County 1.
Corner kick then for Bayern Munich, reduced to 10. In it comes from the right-hand side. Headed out. Fired back in. Blocked. Break on almost for Kamada. Can't get it up towards Pedro, and it'll be a Bayern throw. Full time at Huddersfield in the Championship. Shojo Saka.
It's finished. Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0. Huddersfield hit the post in the second half. They had one blocked on the line. Matty Pearson's first half goal though seals the victory. It's 6 points out of 9 under caretaker manager John Worthington. Sunderland missed the chance to move into the top 6. Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0.
Full time at Stoke, Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 1, QPR 0. Wouterberger's goal right on half-time, enough to separate the two teams. Stoke's first home win for nearly 4 months moved them 6 points clear of QPR, who stay in the bottom 3. Stoke 1, QPR 0.
Full time also at Deepdale, Preston 2, Middlesbrough 1 is how it finished also in the Championship. Bayern Munich, up and Meccano sent off. Tell coming forward, the young Frenchman. Tries to get away from Maricic, now playing as a left back over on that far side. Sends over the cross, Choupo-Moting with the header, and Lazzari was the player who didn't know where Guerrero was, and he's turned it behind for a corner kick to Bayern Munich.
He had time, Lazzari, at the far post. Got to say, what a brilliant piece of skill from Tell on that right-hand side for Bayern Munich. Whips across it, Choupo-Moting gets a glancing header, not directed on target, but eventually cleared from Lazzari.
Corner kick then for Bayern, near side the left. Providel comes and claims it.
I don't get this though. I really don't get it. He's trying to slow things down, Providel. Gotta go for the jugular. This is the opportunity.
Certainly ramp up the pressure on Bayern Munich and Thomas Tuchel if they could get a second goal, that is for sure.
But 1-0, let's get it right. We all fancy Bayern Munich to overturn that. 2-0, another goal from Lazio. That's a different kettle of fish. I don't know how you say that in Italian.
Huddersfield 1, Sunderland 0, Plymouth 2, Coventry 2, Preston 2, Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. All results in the 8 o'clock kick-off. Ipswich still lead Millwall by 3 goals to 0. Guendouzi. Back it goes then to Patrick. Ball passed out wide by Romagnoli. Forward then for Lazio. George has actually done Google Translate. Diverso Bollatore de Pesci.
Yeah, different kettle of fish.
And I apologise to anybody.
Yeah.
I did say in the first half, non parlo Italiano.
Yeah, I think it proved it.
10 out of 10 for effort. De Ligt hurriedly gets the ball clear for Bayern Munich. 60 seconds remain. Lazio turnover. Castellanos feeds it now. Felipe Anderson with the shot. Block comes in from Kim. Inside right channel of the penalty area.
Why did he take the touch? Felipe Anderson. That was the chance. Castellanos pops a brilliant ball out to him. I think he should hit it first time. He's 12 yards out, angle against it, but by taking the touch he creates a more difficult angle. There's Kim who gets back and blocks the shot. But they were braver there with the press. Lazio won the ball high up, one quick pass and they're in on goal.
You think about that chance, you think about the other chance early in the second half for Isaacson.
Yeah.
As it is, it's a penalty from Immobile that still gives Lazio this 1-0 lead here in Stadio Olimpico. Musiala in a deep lying role in the midfield to Kim. 5 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Nobody is leaving early in the Stadio Olimpico. I know that's a bit of a
real fans
bugbear of yours, isn't it? But nobody is wanting to depart for what could be such a significant victory for Lazio. As Guerrero threads it through to Tell, left hand side, closed down by Felipe Anderson. Talk of him wanting to leave and maybe going to Juventus, but the 30-year-old has certainly put in a real shift. Former West Ham player tries to have a nibble of Musiala, wriggles away, tries to link up with Kane. Lazio though bring the ball clear. Pedro to Guendouzi. If he can try and switch play. Castellanos was also forward. This is Marasic to Guendouzi. 4 minutes remain. Lazio in possession. Relief of the Lazio supporters now inside the Stadio Olimpico.
Come on, go for the jugular. That's what gladiators do.
There is a more of a cautious approach. Full time at Ibrox, Ailey Barber.
Utter domination of the ball from Rangers. It could have been 5, 6 or 7, but it was just the two Cyril Dessers first half goals that found their way past George Wickens before John Souttar seals it in stoppage time to go level with Celtic at the top of the table. Simon Murray drew county level with their only shot on target. It is another job done for Philippe Clement, and it is absolutely game on in this title race. It finished Rangers 3, Ross County 1.
Kamada plays the ball out. Pedro waits for it to settle and shoots straight into the arms of Neuer. It was a promising attack on the right hand side, came to Pedro on the left, unable to take it.
Oh, perfect feet from Pedro, quick feet, chopping it on the inside. He shoots straight at Neuer, who clings on gratefully.
They've had some chances second half of Lazio. 3 minutes remain. Maurizio Sarri in his technical area will look a worried man now. Musiala stopped by a firm challenge by Patrick. He went tumbling. It's a good sturdy block as now it's volleyed away, and Lazio pick it up at the heart of their defence inside the penalty area. 2.5 minutes remain. Are they able to conjure one last chance? Or will they settle for that scoreline of 1-0?
Oh, look, even if they got another one, I don't think it would be the decisive blow, because we've seen Bayern Munich still dominate sort of territorially, but I expect when they get back to Bavaria, they'll be slicker. This was, what a chance for Lazio.
Kamada under pressure, need the ball away. Kimmich tries to retrieve it for Bayern Munich. Castellanos then fouls Musiala inside the centre circle. The 10 men of Bayern want to take it quickly. It would just be a 6th defeat of the season, but it would be back-to-back setbacks for Thomas Tuchel. Kimmich waits to take the free kick. We're under 90 seconds away. Lazio still lead by a goal to nil. Goes deep inside the penalty area. They're appealing there are Bayern Munich. And it is a goal kick for Lazio as they surround the referee. But the Frenchman is not going to waver, and he shrugs off and tells them to move away.
He's a brave man. He'd be a brave man to award a penalty. I know with this stadium.
Patrick sprays it up towards Pedro. Looks for the run of Kamada from the midfield on that far side. Stops. Bayern get it up to Harry Kane. Pass it out towards Mazraoui. By my watch, we have just over 30 seconds remaining. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds live in Rome, where Lazio lead Bayern Munich by a goal to nil. Maurizio Sarri, crouching down, is almost encroaching onto the field of play as he looks at his left wrist and tells his players to calm down. He knows that his side could get such a win here, a famous win for them against Bayern Munich. Kim hits it long, Choupo-Moting leaps in the air, the ball should go through to Providel, and by my watch the 5 minutes have elapsed. We're now a little look at the referee's watch. They're ready to celebrate, and there it is, inside a cauldron of noise in the Stadio Olimpico. Lazio have beaten Bayern Munich by a goal to nil, and they have a precious lead to take to Bavaria in 3 weeks' time, courtesy of Immobile's penalty. And Bayern, for the first time since November and December of 2019, had suffered back-to-back defeats. Chris.
Thomas Tuchel, he's a man under pressure. This team have got to turn it round in Bavaria in a couple of weeks. Got to say though, Lazio second half, I thought they deserved it. They won the penalty, deserved penalty. Immobile, the prolific striker, popped it in, but could they have gone for the jugular and tried to put this tie to bed? They had other opportunities, didn't take them, but it's a tie, still well and truly on. I still make Bayern Munich favourites to go through, but Lazio, they've given themselves a chance, haven't they?
Certainly have. Full time in the Stadio Olimpico. Lazio 1, Bayern Munich 0.
You wouldn't make them strong favourites, though, would you, on that performance?
Well, no, and not after the performance at the weekend. But look, I mean, they dominated the game. They just lacked real quality in the final third, and that was the surprising thing. Harry Kane looked off it again tonight, but I've got to say, I mean, Lazio's second half, the way they came out, they had the big opportunity with Isaacson, didn't take it, and you're wondering, well, you know, was that going to be their only opportunity? But then the award of the penalty, I'd still like to see it again. The red card, I thought there was harsh. Upamecano trying to block the shot. He got it wrong. You know,
he could have broken his leg.
You know, I get where that's why I'd like to see it again, but you know, I thought it was a genuine attempt to block a shot. It was accidental. I couldn't quite see from our position how high up, you know, he was on his leg.
Have you seen a replay of it before? No. I sound incredulous.
No, I haven't. But
right, okay.
You know, honestly, that way with me.
Honestly, it is a horrible looking challenge.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, you might be right. But then at 1-0, you know, they had a choice to really press Bayern Munich higher and go for it, and they didn't do that I just wonder whether they'll regret that, Lazio.